right now what you did is you took, here's what we have, let me put it on an organizational chart. You are now at the stage where you need to instead look at what is the dream business that, let's say, would get me to a million a month, $1.5 million a month. What does that organizational chart look like? And then now we have a comparison to figure it out, because the issue of what you have right now, mentioning the guy in the Philippines that I worked with you for 45 years, is, for lack of a better term, you have a lot of baggage in your current organizational chart. People that have been here, this is how we've done things, blah, 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 right? What we need to do is we need to say, what is the dream organizational chart for scale? And then how can we start moving slowly over time from the current organizational chart to the dream organizational chart? And I'll give you some tips along with this. So first and foremost, you can't have multiple direct reports. Okay. So that's, by the very definition, you can't. So you need to have it so that it's clear who's the direct report to who. And in my opinion, your dream organizational chart, you have maybe 2 direct reports, right? That's it. And everybody below that. And you don't speak to anybody but those 2 direct reports. 2 is you can have one person in multiple seats, but you can't have multiple people in the same seat. So when I ask you some of the questions like who's in charge of recruiting, it's like, oh, well, Gabby does it, but also I forgot the gentleman that's a videographer guy. He can make the decision, but also I'm also involved in it as well. I do the pay. It's like, okay, so who is it? Who's the one that's... And in some of these examples here, at a 90% success rate in choosing the right videographer, give that thing to that guy. You know what I mean? Like, don't even, that you shouldn't even be involved in that. And I do respect the third interview thing, because I did that for a very long time. But at your level, there's a huge opportunity cost in being involved in that process. And so I now do the third interview for C-level positions, like director level positions inside the organization, which obviously we're hiring way more infrequently than the videographer position for you. Like, I'll give you a great example. I don't have that level of like videographer hiring that I have to do, but what we do is we hire a lot of salespeople and setters. And so I used to be involved in that whole process all the time. And then finally I was like, I'm not even directly involved with these people. I'm not even their direct report. Let me just enable the person that is their direct report to go out and make those hires. And what I think you'll find is, at your level, there should be somebody who is in charge of recruiting, because it is kind of heavy for a department head to also go out and do the recruiting for that position as well, because they're already managing this many people. So instead, you have Gabby. Essentially, you create a recruiting system. Gabby essentially just has a calendar events for every single department head anytime they need to hire somebody, and the department head just has 3 slots, 4 slots a week for interviews, and they just wake up and there's 4 slots on their interview calendar this week with the notes on it. They take the interviews and then they just make the offer if they want to on that call, right? So now you're totally removed from the recruiting. The individual department heads aren't in charge of getting the people on their calendar, but they will be in charge of making the final decision. And you get to remove yourself from having to be, negotiating stuff back and forth, et cetera, et cetera. And I think that if you were to do the organizational chart, and then you were to shoot a Loom video and let everybody know this is the new organizational chart, then that's a perfect time, Omar, to also you should be removed from almost every single Slack channel, except for the one with whoever Andres, except for him, and then whoever else in that new organizational chart is your direct report. Now, I know there's a difference in the current one and the dream one, so like we might have you still being a part of it for a little bit of time, but a good example of a dream organizational chart is, you right now are at the top of that, but you're doing more than just CEO level responsibilities. You know what I mean? You're doing other people's jobs. You're doing jobs that you haven't even hired yet, but you're definitely at the stage that as the CEO, like, you do have some leverage to pull here, that if all you did was work on the systems of the company and like simplifying some of this and streamlining this, the business would grow naturally on its own, just through lifetime value and lowering churn. So you really need to free up all your time to not talk to anybody else and just literally work on the biggest constraint in the company. But you only do that. First step is your organizational chart, dream chart. Second step is removing yourself from Slack channels. Third step is sharing that organizational chart, not just one time, but on a frequent basis. And then from there, you can start to implement some of the other EOS systems like weekly meetings, scorecards, et cetera, from that.
If you want my help installing any of these systems in your business done for you, be sure to book a call with my team down below.